Meet Miss New Jersey and MSU alum Kaitlyn Schoeffel next on Carpe Diem. Hello, welcome to Carpe Diem. I'm Marc Rosenweig, retired associate professor from the School of Communication and Media at Montclair State University. Our guest, is Kaitlyn Schoeffel, Miss New Jersey 2017. Kaitlyn is a Montclair State alum with a broadcasting major and minors in dance and political science. Most recently, she was second runner-up for Miss America. Welcome, Kaitlyn. It's good to see you back on campus.
Thank you. It is so great to be back on campus. Lots has changed, but it's so beautiful.
Well, we've been reminiscing quite a bit.
We have.
But before we get to that, I want to get to how it all started for you. You were in beauty pageants when you were a little kid. How did you get started?
Sure. So I started competing with the Miss America organization when I was 13 years old. That was the very first time I ever competed in a pageant. And it's the teen program of the Miss America organization. So you can compete from the time you're 13 until you're 17. And this is kind of interesting. I won Miss New Jersey's Outstanding Teen on my very first try at the youngest age I could be competing. And then 10 years later, exactly 10 years, that was back in 2007, 10 years later I won Miss New Jersey on my very last year of eligibility as the oldest in the competition.
Did you think after winning on the first try for Miss Teen that the other thing was going to be a snap?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to Miss New Jersey my very first year competing, and I pretty much just thought that I was going to win, you know, just because that's how it happened when I was a teen. And I was first runner-up, which was really exciting. So close. So of course I had to go back and try again. And I did. I went back a second year, and then a third year, and then a fourth year, and I still haven't won. My fourth year, I actually didn't even make the top 10 at Miss New Jersey. But it was my dream to become Miss New Jersey, so I had to keep trying. And by my sixth try and my very last year of eligibility, I was able to take home the title.
Well, that's a study in perseverance. Along the way, did you ever say, I've done this 5 times, why am I still doing this?
Oh yeah, there came a point because I was first runner-up, then I placed as fourth runner-up, then I made the top 10, then I didn't make the top 10. So this is not the way I should be progressing. You know, I'm declining in how I was doing. So that year that I didn't make the top 10, I had to ask myself, you know, why am I doing this? What's the point? You know, and was my goal still to become Miss New Jersey, or was I just doing it because that was something that I just always was used to doing? And after reevaluating that, I decided, yes, I want to be Miss New Jersey. Yes, am I gaining stuff out of this? Yes, I was able to gain a ton of scholarship money to be able to pay off my college education. And at the end of the day, I was having fun, and I felt that I was personally growing. So I kept going. And you know what? I am so happy I did, because so many people, they said, Kaitlyn, you know what, maybe this just isn't in the cards for you. And I'm glad that I didn't believe them.
What did you say to them?
I said, I can't give up now. I can't. You know, this has been a lifelong dream of mine. I was born in Atlantic City, and I grew up going to the Miss America competition. And it's been part of my life for so long. And just, you know, when you really, truly want something, you have to keep going. Yes lives in a world of no. I said that to you earlier. So the more times that you hear no, the better, because that means that the closer you are to getting a yes.
Now, how important has your mom been in this process? Because she runs a dance studio.
She does.
And is that really where this all started?
It is. So my mom actually competed for Miss New Jersey back when she was younger, and she really inspired me to be able to compete. She does now own a dance studio in Egg Harbor Township, and that's where I grew up studying dance, and she and one of her coworkers choreographed my dance routine. The three of us kind of put it together, and I competed that at Miss America, and it was awesome. But no, her role in my life and my progress and path of competing in pageants has really been huge.
What's your experience been like in pageants? I mean, a lot of people remember the movie Miss Congeniality. I mean, is that what it's like?
No, but I love that Miss Congeniality is Miss New Jersey in the competition. Some people don't even realize that, but she is Miss New Jersey. It's not what you think. There is such an unfortunate stereotype that is associated with pageants and, you know, these competitions that is so far from the truth that, today I would love to just try to, put an end to it. And every appearance that I go on to by speaking about how incredible all of these girls are. And it's funny because watching the competition and then being part of it, your perspective completely changes too. It is, not to sound cliche, which it might, but it is the most empowering, amazing experience competing on stage at Miss America, because you are surrounded with 50 other of really incredible, motivated, intelligent, talented, empowering women, and to kind of look around and realize that you're on this stage with them because maybe you resemble those qualities too is just really incredible.
Now, we were talking earlier about the fact that a graduate of Brown University won Miss America this year,
Yep.
and what kind of statement that might make about beauty pageants going forward. What's your view of that?
Right, so I think it's wonderful. The reason I competed for the Miss America competition was because of the scholarship opportunities. That night at Miss America, I won over $20,000 to be able to continue my education. So I am incredibly thankful for that opportunity. I think it's wonderful because it's showing that this is an organization to empower and educate women. And it's really, really just incredible, and I'm so happy that I've been able to take advantage of it.
Now, tell us about that moment at Atlantic City. It's your home turf. So, first of all, you had a hometown advantage, did you?
I don't know. See,
for Miss America?
People say that, but I think it's a disadvantage because people think that, oh, well, you can't crown New Jersey because she's from that state. They would think that it would be fixed or something, I think. So I feel like they kind of maybe stay away from that. But it was cool because Chris Harrison, he hosted Miss America this year, and when I think I was 13th called into that top 15, and he said, "Your hometown girl," and I didn't even realize it at the time. The crowd erupted in screams, and then he says Miss New Jersey, and it was just so cool to have the support from my community because that's where I was born in Atlantic City and raised just outside of there, so that was really, really awesome.
Now you're down to the final three, and many of us were watching, and I remember that moment, the three of you were there, holding hands out there. Tell us about that moment, the emotions, what you're thinking about, what that experience was like.
It's completely an out-of-body experience. I tried my very best. I'm so fortunate to have been able to go to Miss America as the oldest competitor at 24, because I think that if I had gone, actually I know if I had gone when I was 18, 17, I would not have been in that top three. There's such a maturity level that you don't realize, hindsight's 20/20. So looking back, I now realize the value of being older and going to compete. So I was able to, in that moment, be mindful. I remember just thinking to myself, take a chill pill, relax, calm down for a second, and take it in. Be able to capture this moment as a memory, and so when I'm old and gray, I can time travel back to here, because this is a moment that you never want to forget. And with all of your adrenaline and nerves and energy, it's easy to sometimes forget those small details of things that are happening in moments like that. But like I said, I tried to take it all, and I remember looking out into the crowd. There is a massive American flag at the very back of the boardwalk hall. And I just remember looking at it with the lights shining down and just feeling so incredibly lucky, because Miss New Jersey hasn't made it to that top three in 25 years. So I was very, very fortunate, but I worked very hard to get there. So. Well,
let's talk about that work. I mean, what is the regimen like? What did you have to do? You're a dancer. Mm-hmm. What was a typical week like for you to prepare for a pageant like that?
Right, so I prepared for Miss New Jersey this year as if I were going to Miss America. One thing I like to say is that I think it's important to come from your dreams instead of working towards them. So in my preparations to become Miss New Jersey, I tried to pretend I was Miss America already. When I walk into an interview, I'll just pretend that I had the Miss America crown on my head, because I think that better prepares you for the job that you want. If you can visualize it and actually try to do it yourself. But yeah, the preparation, again, this might sound kind of cliche, but I was preparing for a pageant, but in reality, it was me preparing to set up my life goals, to have a better life. You prepare to have an interview, but when in the real world, you prepare for a job interview, so it was just better preparing me for that step. I practiced my talent. dancing is one of my passions, and I've done it as a career, which has been incredible. So it was really preparing me to become a better dancer in my career. Modeling in a swimsuit or an evening gown made me focused on being physically fit, which is, just setting myself up for a lifetime of healthiness and good eating habits and good exercise routines.
So what tips do you have? What should we be eating? What is your splurge?
Yeah.
Do you like
my
chocolate?
Goodness.
What is it?
You know what? Okay, here it is. It is moderation. Moderation is key. I don't think so much about food. One thing that I did learn, I did have a nutritionist prior to going to Miss America. Drink water.
Yes.
Drink water, and just try to increase your protein. But at the end of the day, if I want to have a cookie, I'm not going to deprive myself of that. You only live once. I want to enjoy my life, and I do enjoy eating different types of food. But just being more mindful of what you're putting in your body and making sure that it's all good for you.
Mm-hmm. I think our viewers would really like to know about the dancing. I know I would, because I was sitting there watching,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously it's 90 seconds, so you have
Only
to
90
you have to
seconds,
pack a lot into that. Not only what goes into that, but while you're dancing, lower third on the screen, they're saying she's also a fire eater. So
Yes.
the question is, did you ever consider fire eating at the same time you were dancing? And would that put you over the top?
I did, but unfortunately there are fire codes in these venues, and I'm not allowed to do any type of fire routines. But I've actually performed at Bally's in Atlantic City, different fire routines, and I can eat fire, spit fire, do all that kind of stuff, and it's really cool. It was a fun little summer job that I had one year as an entertainer there. But no, I've been dancing since I was 5 years old, and I actually studied dance here at Montclair State University. And being able to dance on that Miss America stage was a dream come true of mine. I remember as a little girl watching the Miss America competition, and as a dancer, to perform on ABC was just such an exciting concept for me. And I remember when I first set up to start my dance routine, I started facing the back, but I turned my head and I saw the panel of judges, and just for a moment I realized where I was, that, wow, there are so many people watching me from home, and Jordan Sparks is sitting there and she's going to watch me dance right now. It was so surreal.
So all this keeps coming back to you still?
It does.
Right?
It really does.
Yeah.
And when I got home from Miss America, we DVR'd the competition, so I went right home and watched it, and it was totally different watching it at home on my television than it was obviously competing in the show, but it was just, the whole entire thing was a true dream come true.
Now another element is the interview that you've
Yes.
referred to, and there were a couple of difficult, shall we say, political or newsworthy questions
Yes.
on there. One about Charlottesville, and one about when Governor Christie went to the beach when the beach was closed due
Yes.
to not having a budget.
Right.
How do you prepare for that when you're trying to anticipate and figure out how to answer those questions?
Yeah, so there is a private interview with the panel of preliminary judges, and that lasts about 10 minutes. So they can ask me anything under the sun. My very first question that I was asked when I went into the interview was, why do you even do this? Why do you compete in a pageant? Why would you subject yourself to judgment when you could play a sport and it's clear if you get 1 point, 2 points, or 3 points? Here you're being judged. Why do it? So I just thought, that's a difficult question to answer. There's so much self-reflection that happens when you're competing. And my answer to them was kind of like I said earlier, it's helping prepare me for life. So that was, the best answer I could give. But the interview, like I said, I was asked everything. You're right, from Charlottesville to, I was asked about global warming and climate change, the Paris Accords. I was asked about Beachgate. I was asked about my feelings on Donald Trump and how he responded to Charlottesville, and just so many different, Korea I was asked about during my Miss America interview. I mean, these are things that some politicians aren't even able to answer, but I think it's just really preparing yourself. And my time here at Montclair, I remember taking your news writing class, we had to know what was current. We had to know what was going on in the world. We had to be well-informed citizens. And even that being instilled in me at a younger age carried over to preparing for Miss America, because it taught me how to be able to scan through an article and pick out the key points of it, to be able to have and try to develop somewhat of an opinion on things.
And you told me that wasn't an easy class.
It was not. It was not. I think that was one of the hardest courses that I took here.
But how do you figure out how to answer those types of questions? Because you want to do well in the competition,
Right.
but you want to be honest also.
Yep.
You looking for a middle ground? How do you handle those things?
So for me, I think that it's very important to be true to yourself, and I'm not going to change my opinion to win a crown. I think that you need to be respectful. However, know the facts, know what you're speaking about, and say your opinion, because I think that, as a journalist, I think we respect people that we interview for stating their opinion, as long as they're doing it in a respectful manner.
As far as the new Miss New Jersey experience, you've launched something called Operation Empowerment.
Yes.
Tell us what that is all about.
Sure. So as a contestant in the Miss America organization, we all have a personal platform that we promote, and mine is Operation Empowerment. And what it does is it provides all children, regardless of their economic status or ability, exposure to the arts. So some of the things that I do, some of the initiatives that I have in my program, are a partnership that I have with community theaters throughout the state of New Jersey, where I receive donated tickets for live theater productions, and then I'm able to distribute them to children who may not have the financial means to be able to go and attend and experience live theater. I remember as a child going to see my first live production, and it made me want to pursue the career path that I'm pursuing today. So it really can change people's lives and be so magical. Another thing that I do with my platform is I have a scholarship fund where I am about to launch, I'm very excited about it, a dance studio tour where I'll go to different dance studios throughout the state of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, and teach a master class, do a meet and greet photo op afterwards, and raise money to raise scholarships for students who are in need and would like to go and take dance lessons, or who maybe could take dance lessons but can't afford the costume for the recital. So there are so many different things and areas that I'll be able to scholarship students for, which I'm excited about.
Well, that's super. Congratulations
Thank you.
on that. Getting back to beauty pageants for a minute, though. Do you think they're increasing in popularity, and if so, why? For a while, Miss America was not on one of the major networks,
Right.
and now it was back on ABC again. Why is that happening? What's going on?
I think it's going in a great direction. I think when they made their move and they lost their contract in Atlantic City, that really hurt them. But now that we were able to bring it back to Atlantic City, the ratings have been increasing, and it's doing much better. I think it is increasing in popularity. It's kind of, it's such a tradition to have the Miss America competition in Atlantic City. We live in a very young country, so it's one of our few traditions that we have that has been part of our culture for such a long time. And I think to take it out of Atlantic City, it lost its charm a little bit. But there's a new president of the organization, and he's done an amazing job at trying to revitalize the pageant and kind of rebrand it to, it's the highest percentage of our score is to our talent, which not many people realize. So it is very much a talent competition. The second highest part of our score is the interview. And I believe that the competition is won in the interview process. But overall, I think that, having girls compete for scholarship and really driving home that it's a scholarship organization will continue to just increase participation.
So do you recommend it as a path for a lot of women going forward?
Absolutely, I do. I have gained so much from it. There are so many different avenues that it helps you in. It forces you to evaluate yourself, and it forces you, I think a lot of students or, young adults, they don't, they could say, oh, my favorite color is pink. But why is it pink? Really try to understand why you have opinions about things. And it's truly, you learn so much about yourself by competing. And I think that's probably one of the greatest things that I was able to gain from it. And the philanthropy that's involved with it. I have been a part of so many different service projects that I think has changed me as a person. Going to a children's hospital and sitting down with kids I love magic, so I would do a little magic trick, and that alone can change someone's life.
What's your favorite magic trick? Now
I was asked that in my Miss America interview, actually.
Okay, all right.
I was. So I have two. One of them is a large illusion where I'm sawed in half, which is crazy cool. It's classic. But another one is one that I do whenever I go in and speak to schools or speak in hospitals. It's really simple. It's just something I do with my hands. I won't do it right now, but it's quick and simple. But the message behind it is what I love so much. And when I do it, basically I can untwist my hands and someone else can't. So when I present that to students, I say, let's think about what just happened. You know, I was able to do something that you weren't. So when you're faced with an obstacle or a challenge and you can't figure it out, maybe there's just a small piece of information that you're missing that you don't have to be able to unlock that obstacle. So it kind of teaches them, you know, don't give up when you're faced with a challenge, which is what I like most about it.
So it's not just entertainment, it's a learning experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It makes it tangible. It is able to, people are able to visualize a challenge, something they can't do, and then they see me do it. So it makes the impossible possible.
Mm-hmm. Now you told me you're studying to be a mind reader, okay?
Yes.
So that means you know what the next question is that I'm going to ask you, right?
How am I studying to be a mind reader? How did I get involved in that?
Well, I gave it away earlier by way of full disclosure to the audience.
Yes.
Tell us about that. How does that work, and is something we can all do or should be thinking about? What do you think?
So it's pretty cool. I work with a mentalist and illusionist. His name's Wayne Hoffman. He also happens to be my boyfriend. So we travel the world. I travel in his show. Right now I'm taking the year off as Miss New Jersey from traveling with him because being Miss New Jersey is actually my full-time job, which a lot of people don't necessarily know. I'm hired for different appearances throughout the state. But no, being a mind reader, I started off as an assistant, and then he's slowly teaching me different skills and things that I can learn to be able to read people's minds.
Now, if you're married to somebody or they're your boyfriend, it may be a little easier to read their mind than a total stranger on a cruise ship or something like that. Right?
Definitely, but the methods that we study for mind reading, we are able to try and figure out what everyone's thinking.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm thinking about Price is Right. You were not just a contestant on Price is Right, but you won a showcase worth, what, more than $27,000?
Yes, I did. It's been a great year, let me tell you.
You hit the jackpot, and it wasn't even in Atlantic City.
I know.
Tell us about that experience. How did that all happen?
So I was actually on a cruise ship out in Los Angeles. I had just gotten off, and I had a day before I was flying out. I'd never been to LA before, so I was thinking, what's something that I could do that's very LA? You know, go see a taping of a TV show. So I was with Wayne, and we went to The Price is Right. And
there you are, the two of you.
That was after the show. So that's the piece of paper that says my name on it was what they held up when I was called down. So I was the very first name called down on The Price is Right, which was so cool. And I was the very last one to leave the stage, which was really awesome. I won some of the things I won. I won a trip to Argentina, which I'll actually be taking in 2 weeks. And I won a sailboat. I also won a laptop computer. I won $5,000 in cash. And then I won some silly fun things, which were like a rice cooker or a popcorn machine. And yeah. Oh, but this is really crazy and interesting. One of my judges at Miss New Jersey was on The Price is Right. One of my judges at Miss America was also on The Price is Right. Isn't that, I just couldn't believe it. It was like meant to be.
Does this mean you're an educated consumer, that you were able to do this first time out of the box, so to speak? Because you're not sitting there like many of our students watching Price is Right all the time.
No, I'm
right?
not. It was actually one of the very first times that I even watched the show. So I had no idea. I was just guessing. Honestly, I guessed $27,000 because my contestant number at Miss New Jersey the year prior was 27. And I was told to start in the 20,000 and work your way up. So that was just a lucky number for me.
So when that happened, you thought you were a good candidate to win Miss New Jersey since you won Price is Right? Is that how it works?
I was thinking maybe this is a lucky streak. I got to roll with it.
Now, you mentioned being in LA and being on cruises. What is that experience like, being an entertainer on a cruise? And I know you met your boyfriend there, right?
I did. It's really exciting because I get to go to sleep in one country and wake up in another. So it's an incredible way to see the world. I've been to 25 countries. I'll be checking off 26 in 2 weeks. And I don't know, it's so much fun to be able to do what I love and get paid while doing it and travel the world. Although the living conditions sometimes aren't the best, it's very, very tight quarters, and you are away from your family for extended periods of time, which is not always the best, but I have been enjoying it.
Did you decide to do that because it would give you more opportunities to develop your dance skills and things like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it was funny, when I graduated from school, I submitted a video reel to a production company, and 2 days later I was offered a contract. 3 days later I was on a flight down to Florida to join a ship for 4 months. But I love performing. It's just been such a passion of mine for so many years, and I think that my experience with performing on cruise ships helped me so much competing for Miss America.
Well, what are your future goals? What do you want to be doing in 5 years?
Sure. So I really am trying to explore what I want to do with furthering my education. I want to go and attain a master's degree, maybe from Montclair. I still need to do some more research because I was able to win so much scholarship money from competing for Miss America. Going back to school is definitely in the cards. I was working prior to becoming Miss New Jersey for an entertainment agency and booking talent and entertainment, which I really did enjoy. So possibly owning my own entertainment agency is something that I would be interested in doing.
What advice do you have for our current students and people who are just starting out, who see you as a role model, who see what you've accomplished through perseverance? What's your message to them?
Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. Paving the path is you spend most time of your life paving that path. One of the things, I give a keynote presentation, and I started out by saying, I'm Kaitlyn Schoeffel and I've become Miss New Jersey. People pay attention to my name, which is Kaitlyn Schoeffel, and they mainly pay attention to my title, which is Miss New Jersey. But they forget about the words I've become. They think it's a silly connecting phrase, but that's the most important part of that phrase. It's the becoming Miss New Jersey that made me the person I am today. It's the journey. So enjoy it. It's not always going to be easy, and
don't give up, right?
You
didn't give up.
Don't give up.
Thank you. It's great to see you, and please stay connected to the university and our school. It's great to see you. Congratulations. And thank you for joining us. For more information on this or any edition of Carpe Diem, contact us at carpediem@montclair.edu or call 973-655-5158. I'm Marc Rosenweig from all of us at Montclair State University. Thanks for watching Carpe Diem.